Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Energetic Tarot. So this is a series where I go over the metaphysical concepts that I see in the major arcana for now, without even actually showing you the tarot cards. That's why it's called the Energetic Tarot, because really I'm talking about the energy that is described by the cards, because obviously they're not just cards. These cards are describing not just an archetype, but an energy that exists, that is there to shape and transform us on our journey. So the cards that I wanted to go into today are the Lover's card. I wanted to compare that to the Devil card. I also wanted to go into the Chariot. So it's mostly going to be about the Lover's card and the Chariot, and also how this represents. It can be the twin flame journey, or it can be maybe your own journey, because a very important part of why we are here is to balance and integrate our masculine and feminine energy. So when looking at the Lover's card, if you compare the Lover's card to the Devil's card and you put them side by side, it is kind of like they're mirrors of each other. So the Lover's card is talking about a decision that has to be taken. Now, the results of one of those decisions is visible in the Devil card. So I think a big part of this decision, if we see them, we can kind of see like the Garden of Eden, we can see like the apple, the forbidden fruit, or whatever. We see a choice. In this choice, if that apple is taken, and it is taken as an object of satisfaction, and it is taken as something outside of ourselves, if it's taken in this spirit of lack, I lack, therefore I take this object of desire for my personal satisfaction, then the path of the Lover's card will lead to the Devil card. Okay, so when you seek things from a place of lack, and when you see them as only an object, only a vessel, only an object of satisfaction, then the apple is just an apple. The apple will be consumed, the apple will rot, and then before you know it, you're looking obviously for something else to quench your hunger. There can never be just one apple, right? So if we look at what that says about the way that we approach relationships, coming from a place of lack, coming from a place of this needs to fulfill me, this needs to satisfy me, but then it becomes just this momentary thing. Furthermore, when you look at the Devil card, it becomes this dependency, okay? Because when you are going to this from a place of ego, only in seeing yourself as the vessel, seeing the other as the vessel, then simply an ego death, personal transformation, if that love exists only in your mind, if it is only in the ego, if it's just in your, let's say, your sacral chakra, your yellow chakra, your root chakra, then a simple transformation, any self-transformation that you go through, and then that connection is over. You see, in the Devil card, the two people are chained. They're chained in like a state of codependency, because each of these people knows that the moments that they lose this kind of grip on the other person, there isn't really anything there binding them to each other. Okay, there isn't this energetic 5D kind of bond. This is just a karmic bond, an ego bond, something that comes from a place of lack, something that is going to teach you a lesson. So these two people need to create a dependency, create a false dependency, create a false need, create this addiction. And in order to do that, it's like they need to create fear, they need to create anxiety, they need to create worry, they need to create excitement. It's like they have to create this constant kind of drama, push and pull dynamic is necessary to keep this relationship or this connection going. Because if it only exists in the ego, a simple ego transformation, a simple ego death, a simple just letting go of things that no longer serve you and that are just kind of binding you, and it's gone. It's a love that is built completely on attachment. It is not a love that is built on detachment. It's not a love that is built on some kind of higher destiny or soul bond or something like that. It is a love completely based on attachment, and the moment that attachment is released, it's gone. The moment you stop thinking about and obsessing about this person, it's like your love vanishes, and you think, why? What happened? The moment that anxiety vanishes, the excitement vanishes, and you think, oh, I fell out of love. But what you have been experiencing is more of a karmic relationship, an ego-based relationship, something completely based on attachment, and it's completely based on dynamics of just lack and woundedness that you are playing out with the other person. It's like a puppet show, basically, where you and the other person try to keep yourselves in each other's orbit by any means necessary, through drama and strife. And then you call this suffering love, basically. And when you've had enough, then you let it go, the attachments go, they no longer have any power over you, or you experience some self-growth, you see through it, you want to maybe start to relate in a different way, in a better way, and then that person can either step up or step out, I suppose. Or maybe you find somebody who's more energetically at your level. Now, the other path in the Lover's card is basically the path where, now this is obviously something that I am still working out, but the other path is the only path. So if you are connecting, because the angel is there, and I believe the angel is there to represent not just the higher self, but like a bond, a union that is formed in the 5D, let's say, like a higher purpose, a higher energetic bond, a bond that actually does not require attachment. It does not require drama and anxiety and all these painful ego-based dynamics that people think is like, I'm proving my love, I'm proving my passion, I'm proving my desire, whatever that people think is love for the most part. But it's really just oftentimes kind of a very addictive situation. Anyway, I don't want to piss everybody off, so it's really the only path. That's the funny thing. It's shown as a choice, but one of the choices is a shadow, because the ego is like a shadow of the higher self. It's not really something that exists in the light of the higher self. Okay, and it's everything that's in the devil card is based on things that are not true. So lack is not true. This need for the other person is not true, because that would mean that you are not whole already and that you require this other person for specific things. That is not real. So it's this shadow path of creating things that are not real, and then obviously they fall through eventually, because the sun always comes up, the truth always comes out. You will eventually wake up, you will eventually grow and evolve, and then all that is not truth will dissolve. So if you are truly on the path of the heart, on the path of truth, then in the Lover's card, there is actually only one path for you. So if you look at the Seven of Cups and it's like all these different illusions, when you are following the path of the heart, the path of the higher self, when you're on that path of living authentically and believing in yourself and believing in your true purpose, there isn't this Seven of Cups really. There's always one path. And that path is basically with full awareness, acknowledging what you were born here to do, what you were made for, acknowledging that these desires that you had as a young child were not just there to be this horrible burden, this horrible wound for you to carry throughout your life for no reason, just to torture you, for you to, repress and forget about and try to adjust to a more mundane reality. No, they were created because they were your destiny in a way. They were something that you could claim, that you could aspire to. But the thing is, I guess I'm talking about multiple cards now. Like in the Moon card, it's this long and winding path, and the path itself is meant to prepare you. So that takes us back to the Lover's card. If you reach for that object from a place of lack, if you have not had this journey, then that apple is just not going to have any real meaning for you, any real fulfillment. It's going to be a game of trying to enjoy something as much as you possibly can before eventually it rots. And many times, because of our own wounding, this apple already has a worm in it, and it's already kind of poisoned from the beginning. But the path in the Moon card, that long winding path to the self, that long winding path of connecting to the heart, this path is, like in the Temperance card, an alchemy. It is there to prepare you to receive this thing that you have always wanted. Okay, so it's there to shape you to receive it. So it's there to prepare you to claim, to receive, to manifest these dreams, the journey itself. So the Devil card is about not taking that internal journey, just reaching for the apple or whatever object as a momentary satisfaction that is going to fade over time, and just trying to make it last as long as you possibly can before inevitably it will fade and you will have to find something else to fill this lack. It's about not going onto that internal journey. It's about that apple doesn't really mean anything to you because you were not prepared to receive it. You didn't go through that internal journey of connecting with your own soul, with your own heart, with your own inner knowledge and wisdom in order to receive that. I mean, this can be multiple things, but in the Lover's card, it's usually about union, about reaching a state of union within yourself, or it could be, a more meaningful, fulfilling relationship. But it can really mean anything to a lot of people because it's really just about a choice, right? So this apple, this object of desire, when you've been on this long journey of the Moon, which is going through your shadows, bringing light to them, bringing light to your wounding, illuminating your fears, seen through compulsive behavior, seen through patterns of behavior and cycles that you get stuck in, cycles like the wheel card that you need to break out of. When you go through that path, it's like the Temperance card. It's an alchemical process. It's something that turns the base metal of you into something greater, into gold. And so the path itself, the journey itself, is what's preparing you to receive that apple in the Lover's card, but receive it in a completely different way. The fascinating thing is that from the outside, if you look at the Lover's card, you're going to just see, a choice. If you're watching this, someone can choose the apple or not. But the difference doesn't lie in someone choosing the apple or not. The choice lies in how are they receiving it. It's all about energy. The energy in which they receive it is what decides their destiny. Are they receiving this apple from a place of lack without having gone through the journey to actually value the apple, to actually understand what it means to them? Are they reaching it because from a place of wholeness, from a place of self-knowledge, from a place of knowing that they are worthy of this destiny, from a place of becoming energetically of the same vibration as this manifestation? Are they reaching for it like that? Or are they reaching it in the other way, in the way of the devil card? So even if on the outside it looks the same, what actually matters is what's happening internally. The Lover's card is about a choice. And the choice is really, are you making this decision connected to your heart, connected to your soul? Do you have the knowledge to receive the knowledge, basically? Or are you just reaching it as an external thing with no connection to your inner world? Is there nothing that connects it to you from within? Because if there's nothing that connects it to you from within, there's nothing really attracting it to you, then you can reach, you can have, you can possess, you will want to control, you will want to manipulate to make it yours, but it's never going to feel yours. It's never going to feel yours until you have that internal process. When you have that internal process, that thing that you reach for, it's reaching for you too. It's attracted to you. It's pulled to you. Okay? And that's why oftentimes you see the Emperor with an apple in some tarot decks I've seen. And it's basically that kind of self-possession, like this sovereignty, like you've reached a state where because of your understanding, these things are pulled to you. And you don't see them as this kind of self-fulfillment. You see them as this kind of responsibility. You see them as I don't know if duty, but let's say a passion, a responsibility to others, a kind of like sharing of yourself. These things belong to you because they reflect who you are. And you don't come to them from a place of need and lack. No, you come to them from a place of sovereignty, from understanding. And you see the responsibility and the value, and you appreciate the gift. You see it as a gift, and you appreciate and you value it. So like, let's say, for those who are, into the whole twin flame thing, that Lover's card can have a completely different meaning in that when you have that wholeness within you, when you have that union within you, when you have that balance within you, that fullness, that self-love, then reaching the apple is a completely different thing. It isn't like, oh, finally, now I can be happy. It isn't like that at all. It's, okay, now I'm prepared to receive this. Now I'm prepared to value this gift. Now I'm prepared to appreciate this, because this is not some person who is just the object of my desires. This is not some person who is just meant to fulfill some emptiness in me. No, this is a gift. This is a gift that has been brought into my life. This is a gift that I am meant to receive when I'm ready. And when I'm ready means the long path of the moon, means the patient alchemical process of the temperance card. It means remaining in a very faithful way of the star card. It means remaining completely trusting your truth and your intuition. Of the high priestess card, it means receiving it like a gift with full understanding, because now it is of the same energetic frequency as you are, not from a place of lack. Hey, sorry about that. So yeah, it's receiving whatever it is, really. It's receiving it as a gift. And then the other card that I wanted to talk about as well, which makes sense for this journey, is the Chariot. Now, for me, the Chariot is definitely the Merkaba or the light body. So I would definitely see the horses as the masculine and the feminine. So now, on a personal journey, this is just about, of course, balancing your masculine and your feminine self to make sure that you're going in one direction instead of going in two directions, which is obviously going to get you nowhere. But if you're talking about the twin flame journey or the counterpart journey, then it's about making sure that you are both on the same page so that this basically, so that the vessel of the relationship is moving forward, so that the light body is moving forward. um, what I see a lot is a lot of people don't recognize that on, now this will apply to the counterpart journey, but you can also see this as, when you're doing your self work and you're seeing, things reflected on other people, and you're seeing things that you don't like about yourself reflected on other people. But a lot of people who identify as the divine feminine, let's say, they will always blame this the stalling and the journey on, let's say, the divine masculine, and they will say, it's their fault, they did this, they did that. But what they're not understanding is the gift of the journey. And the gift of the journey is that this person is reflecting the deepest, innermost parts of yourself, that very likely because of society you have been repressing. So just like Jung talks about the anima and the animus, because certain things are appreciated in you as a woman and are considered the standard of womanhood, certain things in you are allowed to flourish, are allowed to grow, are allowed to develop. And now these things are like emotional intimacy, emotional vulnerability, openness, emotional maturity. All these kind of things are encouraged in you. And they can be encouraged in you to the point where they become very toxic, to the point where you're, holding yourself back and becoming self-sacrificial to just help the group, help the collective, help the other, making yourself smaller to not trigger someone's insecurities, things like that. You become so highly, acutely aware, emotionally aware of the other, that you begin to repress yourself. And worse, a lot of times you divide yourself. You divide yourself into the good girl or the baddie. There's this kind of severing and this duality that happens that doesn't allow you to really feel whole, feel full. And therein lies the issue. And that's actually another thing, sorry to go backwards, but that's another thing that I see with the Lover's card and the Devil card. There is something that society does to women, which is to view the woman only as a sexual object. So it's like they're taking a part of the woman and they are like removing it from her being. So it's like you're either this good girl paragon of perfection, or you're just a sexual object. So it's like, instead of the path of wholeness that exists in the Lover's card, which is, I would see all the chakras in balance, in perfect alignment. You are a sensual being, you are a sexual being, you are an intellectual being, you are a spiritual being, you are all these things in wholeness and fullness. What the Devil card does is it extracts, it divides, it creates a duality. So it's like you become an either or. You become too good for me, or too much of a good girl, or you're a baddie. It becomes this thing where there isn't wholeness, where you're put in a box and you're seen only as a physical vessel, as a physical object, and you're seen as just something that exists, to satisfy the other. It's like your value only exists as far as you can entice and excite and create desire. And the moment you stop creating desire in the other, and the moment you stop being desired, suddenly your value is gone. that is, the duality that develops when you see it as a twofold path in the Lovers, when you take the path of the Devil card. And you might not be fully consciously aware of that, of how much value you put on being desired, of how much you yourself encourage being seen just as an object of desire rather than as a whole person, as a whole being. But I digress. So then, when we're back to the Chariot card, what you need to see is that this person is reflecting these traits of yours that you have but have repressed. And you've repressed them because you didn't feel like you could explore them. You didn't feel like you could express them. And it's the same. It is the same for the masculine. They don't feel that they are in a society where it is safe or comfortable for them to have this emotional richness, to have this vulnerability and this openness. They feel like within the own patriarchy to which they may very well subscribe, that they would be humiliated for that, that they would be taken advantage of, that they would be bullied. And a lot of them do have experiences of being bullied or humiliated or taken advantage of just for being sensitive, for being emotional, for being a person, for not seeing women as objects of desire to chase, for not chasing certain things, certain objects of status, empty, hollow things, for not having a certain status, for not having what appears to be power, this kind of fake, hollow king that, the manosphere toxically creates. But what you need to understand is if this person is pulling away, then there's a part of you that is also afraid. There's fears that you have not expressed. If this person is hiding, you are hiding. There are parts of you that you are deeply hiding from. If this person, and I'm not saying accept toxic behavior from others, obviously, but whoever it is that you're dealing with, whoever it is that is mirroring your behavior, because this happens in any kind of relationship, if this person is lying or gaslighting, where are you hiding your own truth from yourself? Where are you lying to yourself? Where are you not accepting what you deeply know? So yeah, oftentimes in a lot of these counterpart readings, people see the Chariot as like, yay, this person is coming towards you, or yay, the relationship is moving forward. But if you look at the Chariot as a light body, it's more like this. It's a very positive card, but it's energetically, it's like, it's considered an ascension. It's like it's like, it feels like a chariot because it's like you're vibrating. So it's like you are ascending. Your masculine, feminine principle, whatever, are in balance, and you are ascending. If this truly is a true counterpart, a true twin flame, and not a false flame, which is usually meant to prepare you for that journey, then you are ascending. You and your counterpart are ascending, and you are evolving. And that is like a huge part of the journey, because like the Temperance card, it's this alchemical process that is preparing you to receive something. Receive it in a way in which it won't hurt you, in which it won't stick you back into a karmic cycle like the Wheel card. Its purpose is to liberate you, to free you, to be able to receive this gift in a way in which you are prepared to appreciate and receive it, not in a way in which you're just going to throw it away again, or you're not going to really understand it, or you're not really going to be prepared for it, or you're going to become really dependent on it. And then when you become dependent on it, when you lose that ability to place healthy boundaries, speak your authentic voice, stand up for yourself, be your authentic self, then it just won't be a good situation for you, no matter who it is. Even if this is what it was meant to be, a very sacred bond, it's going to become another karmic situation for you if you cannot remain in that place of centeredness, in that place of wholeness, in that place of balance, where yes, you can keep these healthy boundaries, where yes, you can remain your authentic self, where yes, if you must, you absolutely can walk away. And maybe, I mean, probably definitely it will be sad, and probably definitely there will be this part of yourself that is, always magnetized to this person, always feeling like, there's more that is supposed to happen here, there's more that could have happened here, there's so much potential here. But you won't be miserable. You can still have a fulfilling life, and it'll definitely be better than being stuck in a karmic cycle. So yeah, so I did want to, rant about the Lover's card, the Chariot card, Temperance, the Moon, related to the counterpart journey, but also it can really apply to so many different situations. And I think that's all for this video. I do have another idea for an energetic tarot video, and I do have another shaman healing video that I want to do coming up soon. Okay, so if you want a private reading from me, I offer a lot of different modalities and reading styles. You can go to psylenstarot.love. Psy is like psychology, PSY. Lens is like a camera lens. So psylenstarot.love. And you can schedule with me. And yeah, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.